Now, I was never a fan of the FNM promo. In fact, thought that the booster packs were a nice, like the standard showdown packs, weren't a bad, weren't a bad alternative or additional support. In fact, it really isn't really an alternative. And Wizards kind of shook up the Friday Night Magic gaming world a while back when they said they would be eliminating F&M promos. Conveniently or inconveniently for them, right after they announced some of the best in years. Specifically, a Fatal Push promo that is probably going to be $15 or more, maybe a lot more in the future. And, well, here we are on September 1st, the kind of last hurrah of the F&M promos. And somehow, Wizards manages to screw it up again. I don't understand how just the most basic stuff is so difficult. I started getting messages 2 days ago from local game stores who shall remain anonymous, and this, in fact, was not one of them. You know, when people know that you're going to speak out about stuff, they tell you about it. I would say 5 or 6 individuals reached out to me with unsolicited, to be honest, until I did send out a tweet. Then I had a few more reach out to me that the F&M promos, specifically the Fatal Push, the one that everybody was excited about for months, would not be arriving at many local game stores in time. Now, I have confirmed. I spoke to my 2 local game stores, and they both had them. And then somebody else responded and said that they got them late today. But there are still several that didn't have it in time. And you might say, well, geez, only like, 3 or 4, maybe 5 people told you. That's true, but my reach is tiny. The amount of local game store owners that even know me is tiny. So if you take my sample size, which let's say might cover 5% of, local game store reach, you could take that number and multiply it by 20 then. So let's say 100 or more stores won't have their F&M promos on time. And I just find it curious. Well, it's not curious. It's unfortunate. And I'm sorry to those Magic players who are going to show up tonight at F&M. They decided to sleeve up a standard deck and pay the F&M fee, which let's all agree that, the cost of F&M is really not a big deal in comparison to the cost of the decks. But they show up and nope. You do not get your Fatal Push promo. Now, let's see if I could buy one. Oh, I hope this, I'm not even sure that, hopefully not. Let's see if I could just buy one. Oh! Well, we have game stores from all over the country selling these things. That's nice to know. So we have an example here of game stores that basically ruin it for everyone else. They're supposed to be out tonight. Nope, not going to get them. But you can go buy them from unscrupulous game stores who are already selling them. That's pretty pathetic. They're getting $25 each, and these are their game store employees. My assumption is these are stores that have like alt eBay accounts, and then they put stuff on here. It's from somewhere in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But, you can buy them, but you can't get them in time. That's unfortunate. And this is not the first time Wizards... I mean, it would be totally understandable if, they hadn't had these things printed months ago. That's the curious thing about this. Like, how do you screw this up? You've known about this promo for months, maybe even as long as a year, because we know that Wizards plans far in advance. But you managed to not get them. Now, I have a friend who runs a local game store. Get this. 2 or 3 pre-releases ago, he didn't get his pre-release kits in time. This is a true story. Twice it's happened to him. They sat in California, and he was just a few states over. And he couldn't have pre-release. And Wizards said that he could not host a pre-release with his prize packs, that he had to use his pre-release kits. So they wouldn't even make an exception for him when it was their mistake. Oh, and by the way, that store actually got downgraded in their WPN level because they missed a largest event by 1 person or 2 people. And, you know, maybe if he had been able to have an FNM, he would have had enough people. So, I mean, this is just, you know, Wizards, I know that they're not a logistics company, and that's why they like to send everything out to distributors. But, I mean, these are $25 bills that everyone's going to show up at FNM tonight expecting to get, and they're not going to be there. And how many, you know, how many of these people haven't been FNM but decided to come in? Now, should you play FNM or not? You know, should Wizards have to pay you $25 to show up to FNM? No, I don't think so. But that says more about the state of the format than anything else. But you know, it sucks. I'm hoping that most local game stores will just keep a list and you'll get it when they finally get it. But again, this is, you know, a $500 million company that can't. They could have mailed these things out a month ago. Why? How is this even possible? These things have probably been printed for many months. So it's just, they continue to screw up all these little things. And they want to know why people don't show up to FNM. Maybe, just maybe, stuff like this is going to be the reason. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be, most Magic players are understanding. And we get it. But by the same token, double-sided foil token, there's going to be a lot of people that show up, and this is going to be their final straw, right? They're going to say, yeah, you know what? I bought sleeves. I put together this stupid standard deck just so I could come to FNM to get this promo because I want it for my cube, or I want it for my EDH deck, or I want it for my whatever, or I wanted to get $25. And they don't even have it. Screw this. I'm going home. There's going to be hundreds of people that say that. And a percentage of those people are never going to come back to that game store again. And it's not the game store's fault. It's Wizards' fault. And a lot of those people are going to blame the game store, which is really unfortunate. So this is, you know, Wizards doesn't care about local game stores. They just don't. If they did this, they would have known that this was going to be a huge promo, and it would have been there months ago. And they would be finding out who's selling these promos early on eBay, and they would be banning them from the WPN program. But instead, they worry about salty language. You know what? I got something to tell you. You're not going to have to worry about salty language if you keep screwing over local game stores, and they're all closed anyway.